Welcome to the Food Safety and Hygiene Training Module, part of the Support Application for Food Pantries program, also known as SAFPAS. In this module, we'll cover essential practices to ensure the safety and quality of food at our pantry, promoting a healthy environment for all our neighbors. Esperanza loves volunteering at the local food pantry. Every week, she looks forward to seeing familiar faces and meeting new ones. Today is no different, except for one thing: she starts to feel a little under the weather. Despite the scratchy throat and stuffy nose, Esperanza decides to push through and go to the pantry. She can't bear to miss out on the opportunity to see her neighbors and lend a helping hand. So she grabs breakfast and a coffee to go, then heads out the door. As she arrives at the pantry, people are lined up outside. Esperanza greets each one with her usual warmth and enthusiasm, engaging in friendly conversation as they wait to enter. She's shaking everyone's hands while eating her breakfast and sipping on a cup of coffee. As the morning progresses, Esperanza begins to sneeze and cough again, even more so than earlier in the day. Concerned, she reaches for the hand sanitizer on the nearby table and quickly applies it before continuing to greet people. Let's review Esperanza's actions and discuss what she should have done differently. Firstly, when feeling under the weather, it's crucial to prioritize one's health and the safety of others. Esperanza should have stayed home to avoid the risk of spreading illness. Additionally, it's important to refrain from consuming food or beverages while engaging in activities that involve direct contact with others. If you do eat or drink, try to do it away from the distribution area. Lastly, while hand sanitizer is convenient, it should never replace proper hand washing with soap and water, especially when dealing with symptoms of illness. By following these practices, volunteers can help maintain a safe and hygienic environment at the food pantry. Michael is a dedicated volunteer at the local food pantry who loves working on Wednesdays. While he enjoys interacting with the pantry neighbors, his true joy comes from unpacking deliveries and sorting items. As Michael arrives at the pantry, he notices the donation truck pulling off, leaving behind wet boxes. He decides to bring the boxes inside to unpack the food. As Michael begins pulling items out of the boxes, he discovers a delivery of fresh chickens, a rare occurrence for the pantry. Excited by the find, he places the raw chicken right next to the fresh produce, eager to sort them into sections. Just as Michael is getting into the groove of sorting, his friend Rebecca stops by to chat. The two friends lose track of time as they catch up on their weekend plans and share stories. However, as Michael gets engrossed in the conversation, he forgets about the raw chicken sitting on the table, unrefrigerated. Time flies by, and before he knows it, he's alerted that there's another donation that has just been delivered. Michael rushes off to bring the new delivery inside, leaving the raw chicken unattended and still unrefrigerated. Let's examine Michael's actions and consider what he could have done differently. Firstly, upon noticing the wet boxes, Michael should have investigated the cause to ensure the safety of the food items. Placing raw chicken next to fresh produce is a potential source of contamination and should be avoided to prevent foodborne illnesses. Additionally, all perishable items, including the raw chicken, should have been promptly refrigerated to maintain freshness and safety. By being vigilant and following proper food storage protocols, volunteers can help prevent food spoilage and ensure the quality of items distributed to pantry neighbors. Nico, a college student who enjoys volunteering at the food pantry when he's home, finds fulfillment in packing boxes of food and delivering them to those unable to visit the pantry. Today, he's especially excited because he's preparing a box for his fourth-grade teacher, Mrs. Park, whom he holds dear in his heart. As Nico begins packing the box, he recalls Mrs. Park's fondness for steak. His eyes light up when he spots a box of steaks that had just been delivered. However, upon closer inspection, he notices that one steak appears discolored and has a faint odor. This steak is touching other steaks in the box, but despite this, he opts to include a fresher-looking steak from the same box, eager to treat Mrs. Park to a special meal. Next on the list is beans, another favorite of Mrs. Park's. Nico spots a bag of dried beans, but to his dismay, he finds a hole in the bag with beans spilling out. Disregarding the imperfection, Nico decides to include the beans in the box, not wanting them to go to waste. Lastly, Nico searches for canned okra, knowing it's a staple in Mrs. Park's pantry. He finds one can, but it's rusted and shows signs of wear. Reluctant to disappoint Mrs. Park, Nico decides to include the rusted can in the box, planning to inform her of its condition upon delivery. As Nico packs the box with care, he can't help but feel excited about the prospect of seeing Mrs. Park again. Despite the minor imperfections in the items he selected, his anticipation of the joy on Mrs. Park's face outweighs any concerns he may have had. Let's discuss Nico's actions and how they could have been improved. When encountering a discolored steak, Nico should have immediately reported it to the food pantry director for further inspection and disposal. Inclusion of compromised items, such as the rusted can of okra, poses a risk to pantry neighbors' health and should be avoided. Furthermore, Nico should have discarded the torn bag of beans and selected a replacement to maintain food quality standards. Let's briefly recap the essential practices we've discussed to ensure the safety and quality of food at our pantry. When it comes to personal hygiene, it's imperative to stay home if you feel unwell to prevent the spread of illness. Always wash your hands with soap and water, especially if you're experiencing symptoms of sickness. Additionally, avoid eating or drinking near the food distribution area to prevent contamination and maintain a hygienic environment. When receiving and storing food, inspect deliveries carefully for any signs of damage, such as wet packaging, which could compromise the safety of the food. Always store raw foods separately away from cooked and ready-to-eat foods to prevent cross-contamination, and make sure perishable items are promptly refrigerated to preserve their freshness and safety. When checking food conditions, be vigilant about inspecting food items for any signs of spoilage, including discoloration, unpleasant odors, or damaged packaging. It is our duty to ensure that the food we distribute is not only nutritious, but also safe for consumption. Now, it's time to put your knowledge to the test by taking the quiz that follows. This quiz is designed to assess your understanding of the practices covered in this module and to ensure that all volunteers are equipped with the knowledge to contribute to our pantry's safety and success. Good luck, and remember, your efforts make a significant difference in the lives of our neighbors. This work was made possible by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, Lung and Blood Institute, 1R34, HL161566, and the Bloomberg American Health Initiative.